These are sweet. What am I gonna do with these? I've got my 1-inch spacer in between the channel on the bed, and that'll go in between the frame rails of the truck and the channel on the bed. And it's 1x3 rectangular tubing, 3/16, and it's running the whole length of the bed. And I've got it tacked in on one side purposely so that when it sits onto the truck, it can kind of rest in, and if it needs to squeeze maybe a little bit more or move whatever, there's rivets and stuff along the frame, it'll just kind of set in, and then I'll weld it a little bit better once it's actually on the truck. And my little helper. Yeah, not working alone today. I got my helper. He's gonna help me stab this bed. And so yeah, and then I'll weld 3-inch channel here vertically with a bolt through it in 3 spots. One in the back, one in the center by the gooseneck, and one in the front is the plan. I've seen some trucks only got one on each corner with a total of 4. V-belt, he did one in the middle by the gooseneck. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 on each side for a total of 6. Why not have a couple extra bolts? Oh, now we got a little loosey-goosey with the MIG wire, huh? At the Norstar factory. Doing, 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 doing. What do you got?
Looks like about 3 and maybe 3 and.
There's the front mount, 3-inch C-channel with a 3/4 inch. No, that front's 5/8. Yeah, 5/8 bolt in the front. That's the middle mount. That's the same thing, 3-inch channel with a 3/4 inch bolt right where the gooseneck well's at. And you can also see running along here, you can see my 1x3 rectangular tubing that I use as a spacer. It's all painted and everything, and there it is. Bed's on, not bolted on or anything. It's just sitting on. Nobody touch it. Nobody touch it. But that could be for tomorrow. Got it all squared up. Everything's even. Everything's where it should be. And the gooseneck ball, got the wheel wells centered. Gooseneck ball's about 2 inches maybe forward of the rear axle. Perfect. Headache rack. Cameras all work. What a rig it's turning into be. Well, it's currently 5 in the morning, and I've been working on this truck all day yesterday, and back at it. I've got almonds on the ground. We got rain coming. I gotta get some almonds loaded up and moved, and I want to use this truck, so I'm trying to get this done because it's got to get done anyway. Made a lot of progress. I haven't shown all I haven't gotten the best at footage. I've just flat out been in a hurry, but I've got most all the wiring done for the most part. I still have to do the trailer wiring for the trailer plug. This is both these two here are the harness that comes with the Norstar bed. It's plugged into the bumper pull 7-way plug, and then it travels up and goes up to the gooseneck well. And then right here I got cut this guy off, and here's the factory wiring right there. And so I got to connect these, and then I got to work on the fuel filler neck. That's got to get done. That's got to move around here and over to there. And I got to finish my wiring there, my extra lights that I've added. You can see the holes right there. I got some of the wiring ran. I just got to start connecting everything. And I got all the brackets welded in. I'll show them later when it's daylight. But yeah, making progress. And the rear mount, 3-inch channel, same thing with a 3/4 inch bolt through it. So I got a 3/4 inch bolt in the back, the center, and a 5/8 bolt in the front. Got all my wiring done. Got a couple extra plugs to go to the park assist and something else. I can't, oh, backup sensors, that's what it is. But got basically all done. I got two more bullet lights to install, and then I need to zip tie everything up. But got my wiring ran over here. You can see there's a bullet light there. It runs all the way across the top to the other side of the fender. On the fuel filler neck, got that all done. I just wrapped this ground wire that they have. I guess that's for static electricity, I'm assuming. Just kind of wrapped that along there, and everything's all bolted in. It's ready to go down the road, other than putting a zip tie in right here somewhere and getting that tidied so it's not swinging around. And there it sits. Got all the wiring done, all the lights basically done. I am missing 2 bullet lights in the back, but otherwise it's pretty much wrapped up. So Bo, how's your towing experience?
I like it.
You like it a lot?
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I
it's
wish
pretty
for
cool.
more.
Wish there were more?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I promise not to make fun of you for having a Chevy hat on and a Ram.
Thank you.
Tomorrow. Truck has 976 miles on it currently. And all I can say so far, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with it. I have towed one time. I pulled about 14,000 pounds, not all that heavy, but it's something. Had to run a skid steer out somewhere to do something, and the towing performance out of this truck is pretty impressive. First gear is interesting. The first time I drove it, I was a little bit caught off guard. The coming out of the hole, first gear is so low, and then the quick defuel going into second gear, it almost feels like you've got a tall geared, like a 354 second gen or something, taking off in first gear and then pushing your foot in the clutch and jumping to second real quick and taking off. That's kind of the way it feels. First gear is low, and so coming from a guy like me that's always had 47 and 48 REs and towing all the time with 354 gears in my second gen
with a 47 RE. You know, that taking off is tall. That's a tall, first gear's tall. So it's kind of weird getting used to that. And I will say, don't be pulling out in front of anybody any too close, because it doesn't jump off the line any too quick because of that defueling between 1 and 2. So that's a little weird, trying to get used to that. Now, hooked up to a trailer, I can see about what people say is that when you hook them up to weight, it feels better. It does. That low gearing and stuff feels more at home, obviously, with weight hooked up to the truck. What's extremely impressive is the tow haul with the exhaust brake on. I mean, you barely have to touch the brakes. This truck will bring itself all the way down into second gear from 60 miles an hour. It's amazing how strong the exhaust brake is in this truck. But outside of that, I'm really liking the bed. I mean, the bed, tons of storage. I haven't really started to put any tools in it yet. I put a few things. Like I said, I mounted my Montezuma toolbox on it, and I put a few things in there. But the bed looks fantastic. It definitely feels like quite the rig. It definitely, getting the bed on, it definitely smoothed out the suspension. Truck rides pretty darn good, I will say, for the most part. I'm sitting here feeling like I made the right decision. I almost ordered a 4500. I was concerned, you know, having the bigger brakes and the bigger rear end is nice in the 45 and 5500 trucks. But the truth is the 3500 is a stout truck. I mean, even though you don't get the HO motor, you look at the specs, the 3500 cabin chassis truck is an HO truck with an SO engine in it. So you've got the big 12-inch rear end for a 3500. You've got the larger brakes in the back that the HO has. You have all that, and so we all know what the towing numbers are on the regular 3500 HO pickup. So now moving from there, the interior is amazing. The Uconnect 12-inch screen, that's taken a little bit of time. Had some issues with connection and disconnecting back and forth with my phone. I kind of figured that out. Had to do with battery optimization is what it was for me. But the Android Auto is kind of I've never had that before. That I'm not really using that. I prefer actually to not use. And so I've got the split screen. I've got my Pandora via Bluetooth down below, and I've got the factory navigation system. Going to full screen. It's just media. You know, you can. There's this thing is like got way more really than like any aftermarket head unit. It's pretty crazy how good the Uconnect system is, the whole factory system. It's what you would always dream of having building as an aftermarket system. That's what I'm trying to say, is anything you want, it's in it. From there, yeah, it's so far it's been a fantastic truck, and I couldn't be happier. Two other things that I wanted to touch on is, one is the narrower rear end that's on the cabin chassis trucks. The 3500 cabin chassis dually is 92 inches wide from outside of the tire to outside of the tire. That is 4 inches narrower than the pickup bed 3500. And the 4500 and 5500 are like 1 inch wider they're like 93 inches. And all this is available on the Upfitter Guide on the Ram website. You can get all the dimensions and everything there if you're trying to get this information like I was when I was ordering the truck and wanted to know. Yeah, I like the narrower bed, and I like the narrower track width in the back. This truck is long. It's a long rig. I've already had a few tight spots where trying to make some turns, and it helps. The other thing is, it's kind of cool, is every dually guy with his American Forces and 35 1250s has got to call his truck Big Booty Judy, right? How original. So while I do plan to put eventually an aftermarket set of tires and wheels on this truck, probably DDC, the 20s, not the 22s, 20 inches, plenty big for me. I'm not going to have a 105-inch wide rear axle. I'm going to have 96, 98, somewhere in there. Totally manageable, totally not just, you know, gaudy or overdone. So I do like that. And like I said, I like the fact that it does help just a little bit on some of the tight turns. You're just a pinch narrower back there. The other thing is I want to talk about is the power. I have not put this truck to the wood yet. I'm running 1,000 miles. You know, I'm letting it kind of break in a little bit, but I have a few times put it down there 3/4 of the way. It's got what I would call civilized power. Those of us, you know, we've got seconds and third gens or deleted later trucks or whatever with running, you know, aftermarket tunes and injectors, all kind of stuff, and it's aggressive power. You know, rolls in low, comes in hard, and you know, they fuel hard and they run good, right? This truck has got power, but it's upper end past 2,000 RPMs, I want to say. And that's supposed to be where the HO engine really comes in. I guess it has a little bit better torque curve down low. The power's there, but it's civilized. It's not ornery. It's not aggressive like the earlier 5.9s and stuff are. So yeah, that's okay. It gets up. It gets up and moves just fine. The transmission helps. You get out of that laggy first gear. Second to sixth is it locks up in second, and then it shifts right through, you know, right through the gears with the converter locked, which is pretty interesting. Coming from 47 48s, you're just waiting for that thing to finally lock and feel the power finally go to the ground like it should. So this truck has that. The Asen has that. I'm sure the 68 probably does too. But yeah, civilized power is what I would call it, and it gets the job done. Like I said, I had my one time pulling with it when I had about 15,000 behind it. I've a couple different times found myself doing 65 plus miles an hour in a 55 zone. It's like, whoa, it definitely takes off and goes. So I appreciate you watching this video. Please subscribe and like. Well, while I was editing and creating this video, putting all the footage together, I actually wound up going somewhere, having to pull a set of doubles, my spray rig set up, kind of a spur of the moment deal. So I thought I would add something to this video, which is now I'm heavy. The truck probably weighs, I'm probably grossing out somewhere around 35,000, I want to say. So starting to get up there on weight. Even more impressed. I mean, the truck just, the braking power is impressive. The factory brake controller works really well. It works better than my Tacoma Prodigy in any of my other trucks. And the truck just acts like it's got everything under control. I mean, power-wise, braking-wise, suspension and handling. You can just tell this thing's built to move around, you know, weight. Unlike the older trucks, the older rigs, I mean, you know, they're breaking a sweat when you start getting them heavy. Even when you're empty, you know, they even kind of feel like that, you know, they sound like they're really working. This thing doesn't even sound like it's working all that hard. And the other thing I wanted to add, I was talking about power in the other clip. You know, it's actually, this truck, I weighed it. It weighs 10,080 pounds with the bed on. With no tools yet in the toolboxes, and that was almost full of fuel. It doesn't even feel like a 10,000 pound truck. It feels like it weighs 7,000 pounds. Very responsive. The handling is great. So I was very pleased with that. I was worried about that, about my service truck. It's an old F Super Duty 7.3 Joker stroker with a ZF5 behind it. That thing weighs 13.5 because it's a crane truck and portable welder and everything. But anyway, that thing is an absolute dog with a flip chip and with a TS Performance flip chip. Absolute dog, weighing 13,500. And so I knew this truck was going to be around the 11,000 pound mark when I get all my equipment in it. And I'm not worried at this point at all. At weighing at 10,000, you feel like you're driving around in a 3/4 ton short bed pickup, to be honest. So very pleased with that. So I want to throw that in. Again, thank you for watching.